Hey guys, Watomarmelon here today, and today I'm going to be bringing you another market watch for July 4th. Hopefully, if you guys are in the US, you enjoy your Independence Day. But as always, this is my second channel. Make sure to check out my main channel and clicking any of the eBay links in the description. These are affiliate links, so if you click them and then you purchase something on eBay within 24 hours of clicking the link, I get a little commission, and it costs nothing extra to you, and it's so. Without further ado, we're going to be first looking at the Sassy Auto auction block. These are ending in about 2 hours from the time of me making this video. By the time it gets uploaded, it'll probably be in like an hour. So if you click the link in the description, it should take you to one of these auctions, and then you can, if you click on one of these links, you click see other items, and then you can sort by auction, and you'll be able to see the entire auction block. But just scrolling through it, he has some cool stuff, but I personally, I was interested to see where these items would end up, but most of the items that I see, they're going for way more than other auctions on eBay are going, probably because eBay is promoting so much, or they are really promoting this Sassy Auto auction block. So I think they're going to be pretty high prices on a lot of these auctions. But as you can see, I was looking at the Masks of Restrict. Not too expensive of a card, but a cool one nonetheless. You got some First Ed Metal Raiders, a lot of PSA 9s, PSA 8s in the mix. You got a Dark Arm Dragon, some starter deck cards. Nothing right here is too interesting to me. You got a First Ed IOC Dark Magician of Chaos. I believe there's actually an 8 or a 9 on Heritage that will probably go for like 1/4 of the price that this one will go for. That's a video for another day. Got a Reverse Dark Magician. Some really cool stuff, like not stuff that you see every day, which is nice to see. Just genuinely pretty cool stuff. You got some Ultimate Rares First Ed. Wish he had a Brain Control, though I know it would go, way more than I can get other cards on auction. Does have a Treeborn Frog, but it's already at 177, so I'm invested in that. Some cool other stuff, a lot of vintage, pin promos. You got LOB Ultras. This looks like an original. Oh yeah, it's different. You got Ultimate Black Rose. I'm interested to see where some of these Ultimate Rares go, because you don't see a ton of these things come on the market, and TCG player prices for First Ed Ultimate Rares, they're just way too condition rare, and also you only get like one, or I think you get like 2 or 3 of these per case, depending on whether it's an ultra or a super, and they have to be hobby box cases. So I believe back in these days, retail was much more common than hobby. So they're pretty difficult to get, and you don't see sales of them too often. So I'm interested to see, because most of the market has had a significant retrace. I'm interested to see whether these Ultimate Rares from the GX era have also seen the same retrace. Got a Magic Cylinder from a special edition pack. I don't know if it matters. I understand that that's probably like a 2005 reprint then. Horrible centering, I can see this picture. More First Ed stuff. Got a Legendary Magician of Dark. This is a card we'll look at in its raw form. Already at $67. This is a card, Dark Magician Girl, the Dragon Knight First Ed Secret Rare, that went to the moon during the pandemic and has really cooled off since then. Got some other cool stuff. I mean, I would recommend you look through this entire auction block. There's a lot of really interesting stuff up for sale. Am I interested in paying the prices that I'm seeing for most of the stuff? Not really. I've also kind of changed my strategy during this recession. Personally, I'm just trying to be as cash rich as possible right now. I probably will put some of my money into S&P 500 index funds, but I have really been trying to sell, especially my slabs, although those are the things that are probably the least liquid right now. Slabs are really hard to move, unless it's very rare slab, and there are a ton of people who have been waiting years for it to come onto market, or maybe months for it to come onto market. But for less rare slabs, they are really difficult to move. And so there's the balance between putting it on auction and getting pennies on the dollar versus just waiting for the right buyer who's willing to pay a higher price. But I'm trying to stay cash rich. so that, in the event that people are just fire selling stuff that they've over leveraged themselves or they've just completely lost interest in, um, you know, I'd be able to pick it up. Also, there's certain collection goals that I think will be more attainable for me now that prices have started to drop, or well, they've dropped considerably. And if we enter a pandemic, I'd be surprised if they didn't, or not a pandemic, a recession. I'd be surprised if they didn't drop even more. So we go on down. You got a Kaiko. This is a secret rare, PSA 10. Not doing all that well. Yeah, 200, but a lot of times bids come in last minute, so we'll see where that ends up. It's hard to say where any of these cards will end up, but I'm seeing that they've already been bid up quite significantly. So a lot of them are already at the point where I don't think there's a whole lot of money to be made, and so if you're bidding on them, hopefully you enjoy the card. So that's all I'll say for these first cards. The Sassy Auto auction block is something you should definitely check out because there are a ton of cards on auction. There are a bunch of other auction blocks that I haven't looked at right now, but they're all stuff that you should consider. Next up, we have Legendary Dragon of White World Superstars. Look at the yearly one on this. This thing used to be way more expensive. I think it got up to like $80, $90. Now it's down to about $40. And you can see people are picking them up for under $40. Italians at 31. If we look for an actual new copy, yeah, you can get them for 38 still. So, I mean, this is a card that has really struggled, but it's a beautiful card if you get it in hand. And this is one that, at these lower prices, willing to pick it up at this price. And so, this is a card I might end up picking up. Counterpart, Legendary Magician of Dark. Not had the same, well, I guess if you look at the monthly one, it stayed relatively flat, and the 3 months one also stayed relatively flat. I mean, the difference between the higher point is about $37.50. June and April was $37 almost. So it hasn't really changed in the past couple of months, but you can see that this one also really took a dive, not quite as hard as the Blue Eyes one. Yeah, you can see that it's around 34, so a little bit less than the Legendary Dragon of White, but really beautiful cards, and these are ones that I'm personally interested in picking up at lower prices. It seems that they're stabilizing a little bit, but these are cards where there's a lot of them out there, so I'm not in any rush to pick them up. If there's a TCG player, 10% bonus buck sale, I'll probably pick up a playset of each of them, but till then, some cards to keep your eye on because I think these are really nice collection pieces. Here's a card that really blows my mind. It's the Black Rose Dragon Starlight Rare. And similarly, the Stardust Dragon Starlight Rare. It blows my mind that these cards are staining the prices that they are for what they are. I mean, Starlight Rares are rare, and I think I have been I've underestimated the actual rarity of Starlight Rares because who knows how many cases of these they print. If there's 1 million cases printed, there are going to be, or 1 million booster boxes, right? No, 1 million cases printed. I shouldn't do this math, okay? But basically, this card is about 1 in every 1,000 packs. And so if you print, so this is fair. If you print about 1 million packs, you're going to end up with around 1,000 of these Starlight Rare. So I think there are probably 1 million of these packs printed. So, this isn't as limited as some of those stay-at-home promos. Also, don't quote me on any of the math I'm doing off the top of my head, because I also have to think of things to say. So my math is not the best at this, despite being a math major. So you can see this card, it's sustaining prices at around 500, but if you look at the Ghost Rare, you can get unlims for under 300. And so it's a question of why would you pay for this Starlight reprint when you can get an unlim Ghost for 300? Now, I understand that the First Ed Black Rose is much rarer than the unlim. From Crossroads of Chaos, the boxes Crossroads of Chaos are all unlimited, to my knowledge. You have to go into tins in order to get the First Ed packs, which I don't know how many of these tins were printed, how many of them were opened. I mean, it's not like an impossible card to get in first edition, but it's not super common. Sure. So I don't know how many of these things there are, but even then, Are you really? You can get it for 280. Are you gonna pay 280 for a Ghost Rare first print, or 500 for a Starlight reprint? I would take the unlim Ghost Rare each time, but I think there's a lot of people who got in during the pandemic. Starlights are sort of the most important chase card for them. So, to each their own. Next up, we're looking at another Ghost Rare, Rainbow Dragon, one of my favorite cards of all time. Let's look at the yearly one. The first ed is actually not doing too poorly. If we look at first ed near mint, you can see there's one from a zero feedback seller at 400. Never played. I see scratches on this, so I don't that confident ever played. Top right corner is busted. Tons of whitening on this thing. That's definitely not near mint. I was gonna say, the front didn't look poorly centered, although the back does look off center. I mean, whenever you see these zero feedback sellers posting pictures, you always gotta take a chance. Here's another one at a little over 500 if you're shipping, from a zero feedback seller. This one does look on the in a sleeve. I can see whitening at the bottom. I don't know if I would bother paying for something like this. I mean, the foil looks quite nice. That actually might be the best thing in the world to pick up. That one's 500, and you can see after that you're seeing them at around 600. As I said, this is July 4th, so there's fireworks going off right now. So people yelling, having a good time. So I apologize for that, but really interesting card in first ed. If we look at just your mint unlims, this card seems to have dropped pretty considerably, around 280, but first ed near mint is holding out. I mean, I've said it before. This is the first Ghost Rare printed in the TCG. This is, to me, the most important Ghost Rare, more so than Stardust or anything like that, because it's the first. Now, I think Stardust, obviously being a protagonist boss monster and extremely difficult to get in first ed, means a lot, but this Rainbow Dragon Ghost Rare is a lot. It is pretty significant in my opinion as well. Next up, looking at Solemn Judgment Ultimate Rare out of the tournament pack, you can see that this one has its ups and downs for sure. These two right here are actually something that I sold yesterday. See, it's around 120, a little bit less than that. Interesting card. I actually have one of these at PSA that was perfect condition-wise, but on the North American printing of this card, there's like bleeding of the reddish purple from the trap effect into the outside Ultimate Rare border. So I don't know what PSA is going to do in terms of the grading. I mean, this card is literally impeccable. It's perfect centering, no scratches or anything. I can't remember if there's a little bit of an ulti stamp. I don't think it was bad at all. And ulti stamps, sometimes PSA docks them. Most of the time they don't nowadays, but we'd have to see. I'm more interested in seeing what PSA does with sort of this ink bleed, because it is on every single copy of this card that I've ever seen. And I think I've probably seen around 10 of these different sellers most of the time, so who knows. Final card is Shooting Majestic Star Dragon. This is a card that seems to not have had a great past year. Huge drop during the March to April months. You can see that this card is around $105. Honestly, if there's a Starlight Rare that I would pick up, this is one of them. I mean, it's a beautiful looking card, and it's just as rare as the other Starlight. So this is one that I'm interested in. I'm assuming because Dawn of Majesty got ripped so much, there are a lot more of these things on the market, and there's less skilled product. But still a really cool card. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys did enjoy the Market Watch, as always, make sure to subscribe. It's been your boy Watomarmelon, and peace out.